What's up, dudes? Man, it's cold today. Get the opportunity to skate today on a Thursday afternoon, except it's 46. Are you on the Facebook group? If you're not, it's no big deal. If that's not your jive, I understand. But it's kind of neat because we've got like OGs and beginners. And we got some guys that really rip, and they're giving really great advice to a lot of people on there. And I noticed from the comments section, a lot of dudes are still really having trouble getting into that stall. And Dino, rock it, homie, you're killing those stalls. It's looking great. And going into those grinds, that's exactly what it is. And for you guys that may not remember, or you guys who aren't there yet and don't understand, the backside 50-50 grind and stall, it's trippy because you can't see it as well. You sort of have to feel it. And if you're at the stall and you're going into the grind, you know there's this point where you're almost blind and you just got to trust. You have the bar, the coping, running down the arches of your feet, and you're kind of getting the trucks on there. You have to throw caution to the wind a little bit. And I remember back when I was riding Thunders and I was learning my first really legit grinds. Not the ones where you stand up and you stall and you kind of do a rolling stall, but when I was really trying to throw it into a grind with some style, I felt like I was shaking dice and throwing dice. Like, it felt that random. And I wondered to myself, am I ever going to get to a point where it doesn't feel so random, you know? And yes, it totally does. It totally does. You got to stick with it. But you have to get yourself into that point where you're able to just trust yourself. Okay, so that's not this video. This video is beginner stalls. I found a new technique that I like, and I think it's going to help people better. Let me see if I can take a couple runs and show you all what I mean. My goal is going to be roll in, and I haven't taken a run, so I'm going to warm up here, but I'm going to roll in, drop in, and I'm going to come out of the bowl. And then as I'm coming up to, say this is the coping, as I'm coming up, I'm going to try to put one truck at a 45-degree angle, my back truck, get it on the coping, but roll out. So that's what I'm going to attempt right now to show you what to do, because to me, this makes a lot of sense. Let's assume you got the drop in and you're going to roll out. Now I'm a goofy foot, so my right foot's going to be forward. And what I'm going to do here is roll up to the top, get my front trucks over the coping. I'm going to take my back foot off and put it on the deck. Safely, slow, chill, okay? See that? Let's do that again. This is a really good way to learn to roll out. And honestly, it leads to so much of these tricks when you're getting up on top of the deck, because you're getting familiar with it and you're realizing that this isn't so bad. If you don't know what you're going to do when you're going to get there, it's going to be sketchy. You're going to take your back foot off, keep your front foot on. Watch. Right? That looks really simple, right? Okay, so you can see there, I'm picking up my speed and my trucks are mostly bouncing out. So I'm going a little faster than I need to. So let me slow it down and show you what this looks like. If I can keep that same speed and I can get out on the deck, but keep my foot on, that's even going to be better. And don't be afraid of turning just a little as you approach the top. Say this is the transition. As you approach the top, just get your upper wheel out and then try to land. You don't have to turn all the way like this. That's the scary part at this stage. So come up, one wheel, land on your truck, and go down. So that's what I'm trying to do here. For the first one, I'm probably going to try to roll out and turn a little bit. So here you do a little bit bigger pump and keep your back foot on. If you crank up the speed on this one, it's not going to be as scary. So if you see, I did that same thing. I got the one wheel, the backside back wheel on top of the coping, so that I'm making a backside kick turn, and you're going to walk that one wheel over the top. Once you do that, it grabs. and it feels safe. So do that. Let's do it again. See what I'm doing there? Come up. Let that one wheel in the back come over the coping and step it down. You're not going to try to turn it all the way yet. You're going to come up, get this wheel, step down. And when you step down, you're putting weight on your front foot. You're definitely moving your weight forward. And at that same time, you could be ready to take your back foot off and step it on the deck. Let me run through the 3 steps again, and then I'll do one ride at the end where I'll try to like demonstrate the process. All right, step 1, guys. Get up on the deck. Take your back foot off. Get good at that. You're just taking your back foot off, planting it on the deck, easy peasy. So now what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to tilt my board, get my back rear side wheel over the coping, keep my toe wheel inside the bowl, have the truck right on the coping here, and be at like a 45-degree angle. Just like that, roll out, do whatever. Honestly, that just being able to pop out over it is a great way to get comfortable with this. As you're learning this stall, you're learning a feeble too. You're learning a feeble stall straight up. That's pretty awesome because once you get it, you're going to be learning both at the same time. So okay guys, hopefully that's making some sense. Go a little bit more and a little bit more until you get on the coping and get it. If you haven't learned the second half of the trick from the coping stall to the drop-in, I suggest everybody learns that first, because it's real easy to just stand up on your board and learn that part. I know I've done 2 or 3 videos at least on that. I'm speeding it up a little, guys, but that's it. And when you need to jump off, do that. If your knees are bent, it's real easy to pop yourself back in and out of the trick. That's it. You'll get comfortable to a point where you keep your back foot on, you turn right at the top, and you just put your heel wheel over the coping, and you stop right like that. And then from that, it comes to this, comes to this, comes to this. And then at that point, you can just go on and go in the way I just did there. So there are many ways and many roads that you can take to get from point A to point B. And I'm just throwing out another option. Now this didn't make sense to me in the very beginning because I was trying to go right into the trick. There wasn't really anything simple that I had on learning the stall. If I would have done something like that, that would have been easier. Plus I feel like there's a better progression. You're also learning to get out of the bowl, which is going to eliminate a lot of the fear you're already having. You're knowing about getting your body weight on top. You're knowing about getting one foot to the deck. That's super valuable. And then when you twist it and you start getting into the trick, now you're getting into a feeble stance, safely able to like correct it more and more and more until boom, you're hitting right into a perfect 50-50 stall and you're coming back in. Divide the trick into 2 parts though. Learn the stall to the drop in first. As far as I'm concerned, you should learn that after you learn to drop in. One more time, just in case you don't want to see the other video. You can go all the way back to the tail. You're gonna lean, fall in, turn, keep pressure on your toe wheel. You want to keep that wheel down. It's really about leaning. If you try to turn and you try to keep your head upright, you're going to pop your truck back over the top of the coping and you're going to be in trouble. You can learn it. Like, you can kick it in and learn it that way, but as far as I'm concerned, to a real beginner, that's almost more scary kicking that in and going fast. I think if you have lots of hours on a skateboard already, you're familiar with it, you can learn that. But if you're just getting a board coming back out of the bowl, that's a ballsy trick. This seems ballsy too to half the population, but if you really learn it with this fall, so you're going to stand on the board, get all your wheels locked up on the coping, bend your knees low, stand up, lean. It's that easy. I do that same drop in front side too, guys. As long as you're leaning the way you should and you're taking your board and your body in the bowl, you are good. And the beauty about that is you can get into a stand-up 50-50 stall, you can bring in some more speed and some more angle, and you're going to be rolling on the deck doing a 50-50 grind way faster than if you're trying to crisscross your trucks and doing it that way, you know. And if you're 15, do it the Tony Hawk way. But if you're 50, get up there and roll on it, you know. Look at, what was it, Steve Caballero, man. I seen that guy pop out of like 12 feet deep bowls on concrete coping, front side, standing completely upright, wheels locked in, but all he does is bend his knees and just fall back in. It's a beauty. So, right, I think that shows it. The closer you get, it just takes and it chips away at the fear and making it less and less and less as you get more comfortable with doing these other practices. I feel strongly about this. If I could have learned it this way, I feel like I would have learned it and the feeble and launching out, decking it, everything a lot easier. Because in the beginning, it's really hard to throw your body out without being able to at least ride out first. And a lot of you guys trying this don't know how to do this. You don't know how to get your weight out of the bowl at all. So this is a key thing. Keeping your feet on the board, that's a barbed wired up mental barrier when you're coming out over coping. So this is a good way to do it. Anyway, if you feel like this video might have offered something to you, please hit the like button. It'll help out the channel, and it's totally free to subscribe, so why not? Although, just watch the videos because that's what helps me the most. Thank you, and take care, dudes. Later.